What's poppin', everyone? I'm Carter.
And I'm Tiernee, and welcome to the second episode of The Popcorn.
In today's episode, we're going to be going over stuff that we have been watching recently. So if you remember last episode, we said that Tiernee was finally going to watch Obsession. We're going to get her thoughts on Obsession as well as my general thoughts. I've seen it 5 times. I already know that I love it, but we're going to get some thoughts out on Obsession. I happened to see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey back on Tuesday in 70mm IMAX. It was amazing. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to talk a little Spider-Man Brand New Day because we both just got back from seeing it. It was her first time. It was my second time, but that's like the biggest movie in the world right now. It is crushing it at the box office, it is already the second biggest opening box office of all time. Last time I checked the numbers, it's already at 927 million. For context for you and for anyone listening that may not know, the biggest opening box office of all time is 1.5 billion, I believe, and that was for Avengers Endgame. Obviously, Avengers Endgame is like one of if not the biggest event in cinematic history.
Yes.
So the fact that like just a simple Spider-Man movie is on the same bar as that is insane. Movies are so back. I was just looking at a report earlier that said this weekend is the biggest domestic box office weekend in history. Last May, I believe, was like the first time that the worldwide box office has hit $1 billion grossed since like back in 2019 before COVID. So movies all around. This is a great time to be alive if you are a movie fan. Movies are so back. 2026 is a great year for cinema. And speaking of 2026 being a great year for cinema, let's talk about some of its greatest movies. So where do you want to start? Do we want to go Obsession? Do we want to talk a little bit about the Odyssey, or do we want to go Spider-Man?
Let's go top of the list. Let's start with Obsession.
Let's start with Obsession.
Yes.
Okay. So I saw Obsession at a Thursday night showing. I'd been following it since last year when it was debuting at festivals. I remember hearing the early festival buzz about it. I was locked into this movie like from before anyone else had even heard about it. Saw it at a Thursday night screening before any of the big hype, and then it went on to just become like biggest movie in the world, 6th highest grossing horror movie of all time, freaking more than quadrupling its budget.
Yes.
So I've loved this movie for a while. I've now seen it 5 times, but you just watched it for the first time, what, like a week ago now? So
yes, on the same day we filmed last week's episode.
Yes, we watched it right after we filmed last week's episode. So what are your thoughts on Obsession?
Okay, so first of all, I think I said this, and when I said it on last week's episode, it got us into our whole Scream thing, which we're not going to repeat because that was crazy.
We got so off topic.
Yes, we did. So I am not the biggest horror movie fan. I'm kind of a scaredy cat when it comes to horror movies, but it's like the classic horror, like, you know, you can think of like the Mount Rushmore of horror, and you think like Michael Myers, Ghostface, like all them.
Jason Voorhees.
Yes, right. Like that doesn't scare me. But when it comes to psychological horror, I was scared. Like, I was genuinely scared. Every 5 minutes, I was like, there's going to be a jump scare. Something's going to happen. But overall, it genuinely disturbed me. Like, last night, my mom was like, oh, I think I want to watch Obsession. And I was like, go ahead and watch it. But it's disturbing. And she probably thought when I said that I meant it was, like, disturbing in a different way than I said. But no, it was genuinely disturbing because, I don't know.
It does a really good job of just, like, getting under your skin.
Yes. It was gory, but like gore doesn't really scare me. It's just more like the concept behind what they were doing.
Yeah, it's almost like Jordan Peele's horror films. Like, have you ever seen Get Out?
No, but I've heard of it.
You need to watch Get Out. A lot of Obsession almost had that energy where it's like what is happening on screen is objectively freaky and scary.
Yes,
but I was watching the director, Curry Barker, talk about it in an interview, and I watched his whole breakdown of the movie on the director's commentary on the Blu-ray. So I've seen him talk about this movie a ton. And the one thing that he said that he really wanted to go for this movie was he didn't want to go for the horror reaction of like seeing a thing and making people like scream at it. Like, he didn't want to go for jump scares really with this movie. He wanted to go more for like a feeling of you seeing something and going, I do not like that.
No, I didn't.
Just that feeling of like just like noping out of it. Nope. He said that was the
exactly nope.
Yeah, he said that was the reaction that he was really aiming for this movie because he feels like that is a little more scary than just like the 2-second screaming of a jump scare.
I feel like a lot of horror movies lack that, and it was like it left me like days after watching it, like to this day, I'll still think about it. Like,
Yes.
I'll be
Yeah, it sticks in your mind.
Yeah, and I'll be walking through my dark house thinking that like Nikki is gonna pop out. Like, it literally, I think about it to this day.
And that movie did a great job. We will be talking some probably spoilers for all of these movies. I'm not really going to get into spoilers for the Odyssey because I feel like that one's easy to talk about without spoilers. But Obsession's been out for a while, so we're probably going to talk spoilers on that. We'll probably do a spoiler segment for Brand New Day when we get there. But spoilers for Obsession real quick, if anyone hasn't seen it yet. I think that movie also did a really good job of in the scary aspect. Like, it is just like, it's scary on the surface level what is happening, but then it also, like, if you think about it much deeper and everything, like that movie from Nikki's perspective is just as, and in a lot of ways more horrifying than Bear's perspective, which is what we get the film told through.
Yes.
So I think that's just an example of such an expertly crafted, expertly thought out horror film. So many people in Hollywood have praised it. Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, both of them have praised this movie. Like some of the biggest names in Hollywood have all been like, yeah, this is just, it's just a great movie. Like sometimes you don't need a giant budget. All you need is just a great idea and to execute it to perfection.
And that's exactly what it was.
Exactly what they did. I really want to talk about the performances in that film.
Yeah.
Indy Neveretti, Nikki, oh my God. Like,
crazy.
Just in that is, I think that is maybe like the greatest performance I've ever seen from an actress in my life.
No, she did a great job.
That movie is only as great as it is because of her. Without her, it's a great screenplay, it's a great story, it's a great concept, it's a great everything, but like, she is what takes that film to the real next level.
Yeah.
Like, every scene in that movie works because of her, and she does what is really the sign of an amazing actor. She takes the already great material and somehow just elevates it beyond what it even was on the page.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like, another thing it did a great job at was rage baiting me, because I was just like thinking that so many things could have been avoided. And like, movies like that, it's almost like I have a love-hate relationship with, but like, it's awesome. Like,
I think, and on that same point, the character of Bear, the whole thing with him of like, I think, once again, I was listening to the director talk about it, and he said that he was very interested in the idea of like having a protagonist that isn't really like clean cut good or bad guy. Like, obviously Bear is more the villain of the movie. I'm not saying
that's a big debate right now, actually.
Bear is obviously more the villain of the movie, but like, he's not just like outright framed as the villain. Like, you know, you start off where like he is your protagonist, and like, so, but even the way that the director Curry Barker, director and writer, said that he wrote it, it's like every one of the different friends kind of has a different opinion on what's going on with Nikki. Like, like Ian thinks it looks like Bear's taking advantage of her having like a mental breakdown, and then Sarah in the movie, Sarah says she thinks it's not fair that it looks like Nikki is taking advantage of him and just leaning on him because she like knows that Bear will take care of her and let her stay and whatever. So I was watching the director talk about that, and I do think that it just makes the film itself, and especially the online discourse around the film, when you don't just have like a clear cut good and evil, when you have it be more complex and way more messy. Like, I like that, and because it just, one, makes for a more engaging film, I think, and a more interesting film, and it makes everyone feel more like real characters that like like in a friend group, if like there's drama going on, different people are going to have different solo opinions on the drama, and that's exactly, and all of them are the friend group in Obsession. Some people thought they were just like coworkers. If you watch the movie multiple times, and the director says it on the commentary, they were like high school friends. So like, that's such a real thing to have. Like, if there's something effed up going on in the friend group, not every friend is just going to be a bot and have the exact same take on what's happening.
We know that better than anyone.
And I love that Curry Barker, like when I was watching him talk about it, he's talking about that, and I'm like, that is so true. Like, I love that he portrayed that, because one, it makes the drama way more interesting, and two, it just makes everyone feel more real, and the realer it feels, the more engaging it feels, I guess. All of Obsession is just, that is my only 10 out of 10 of the year so far. I think it is just like a perfect film.
No, it was great. But as much as I feel like I did love it, I wouldn't rewatch it because of how disturbed I am by it. But that's the goal.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, if you do rewatch it, it gets better on rewatch. Like, there are so many more little things in there that it is better on rewatch. And I've seen it 5 times now, which is maybe a little too much for Obsession, but
That's disturbing how you can watch that far. I don't know how anybody does that.
dude, I watched it 3 times back to back. Like, look on my Letterboxd diary. It's Obsession, Obsession, Obsession. 3 days in a row, all I watched was Obsession.
I can't. That was no. No.
I'm insane. But if you ever do rewatch it, I think you will appreciate it more on rewatch. I would also, one last thing I want to say here, I found the film to be almost scarier on rewatch, only because like now you know what's coming, and so many of the things in that movie they happen out of nowhere. Like whenever Nikki will break out, like when the real Nikki will break out of her personality and be like the big jump scare moment, or like the car scene, or like the scene at the party with like or with the Jenga and like on your left and whatever.
Yeah.
Like all that, so many things in that movie. It's like it's a normal scene. Even the sandwich scene. So many scenes in that movie. It's like just a normal everyday thing that's happening, and then out of nowhere it becomes a horror movie.
Yeah.
And rewatching it, you don't. If you watch it enough, you will start to remember like the lines when things happen. But like it, just on your second rewatch, you just remember that like crap is gonna hit the fan in this scene, but you don't remember exactly when it happens. So it's a different kind of scary because you're sitting back just like waiting for the jump scare, and then it still gets you out of nowhere. So that was at least the experience that I had rewatching it that I thought was really fun. That the way that he like so well just like hid and planned out the jumps, like it really does get you even on rewatch when you know it's coming, just because like the dread and the build up to it were so well done.
I mean, the first watch got me. I knew about the car scene because TikTok ruined it for me. Like I went on TikTok and I would see like memes being made out of it, and then they would like be like, "Oh, me when this with this guy," like, and I'm just like, dude.
Yeah, this movie has gone insane online. But like that's why I'm so happy that I did see it Thursday night. I saw it at the earliest possible showing that I could see it at, because like I saw it before any of the memes were even a thing.
Yeah.
Like I saw it before most people even saw it. So like the whole car thing 100% got me. The whole like the party scene, like the thing with her with Bear having to kiss Sarah 100% got me. Even just like the scene in the restaurant with like the no, like that part. Like I hadn't seen any clips of or memes or whatever of any of that, because I just saw it like before everyone had went to see it to make the memes. So I thought that is an experience like I will never be able to get back. An experience that like someone like you, even who has seen the memes, won't really get. That like watching it completely in the dark, because all I had done for that movie, I had seen like 2 seconds. I didn't even watch a full trailer. I'd seen like 2 seconds of an advertisement for it on Instagram. And then I just had heard people raving about it from the film festivals, and I read the basic description. That was all I knew from the film.
I can imagine watching it in the theater though, because we watched it here on Carter's 4K with the surround sound, and I was like, can we please turn down the surround sound? Like, I was scared.
It's such just an immersive, like, it's such an atmospheric score.
Yeah.
Like, you really feel that score. And I thought, whoever did that score, it's like Rocky something. I forget his full name, but like, oh my god, he killed it. And he is working with Curry Barker on his next film that releases next year as well.
I heard about that.
So I'm very excited for that. It's called Anything But Ghosts. I cannot wait for that movie. Great cast. Curry Barker and Cooper Tomlinson. I forget how you say his last name. I'm so sorry, but he played Ian in Obsession.
Okay.
And him and Curry, the writer and director of Obsession, them two really got their start making like comedy skits on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're hilarious. I love their skits. And both of them, the duo, is going to be starring in this next movie. And the next movie sounds like it's going to be leaning a little more into comedy than Obsession, like a little bit of a comedy horror-ish thing. And just the thought of just the two of them, because now Curry is starring in Anything But Ghosts. So the thought of just the two of them acting on screen together, it feels like it's just going to be like a 2-hour version of one of their skits.
Yeah.
And I am all here for that. But even if it's a comedy horror, when it goes into the horror, you know he's going to kill the horror.
Yeah, no.
It's gonna he is amazing at comedy from his skits, and he is amazing at horror. We've seen in Obsession. He's done some other horror short films. Yeah, so I think that movie's going to be great. Whenever it gets a release date, I will be marking my calendar. Currently, I think it's slated for next year. I know they already filmed the whole thing. We just don't have an official release date yet, but like, he already signed like a multi-million deal with like Universal. Like he already got bought up. Everybody wanted this guy now. After seeing what he did with so little. Now just imagining, like watching his career grow and see when he gets bigger budgets, what he's going to do with that is going to be so cool to see.
Yeah.
Just seeing how much he made out of so little. And if you'd want to transition from that into the Odyssey,
Yes.
because speaking of what we were just speaking about with like seeing someone start from so little and then grow big, in lead up to the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan, he is my favorite director of all time, favorite filmmaker of all time. I absolutely love that man. And I rewatched, well, most were rewatches, some were first time watches. I watched his entire filmography
Yeah.
building up
Hmm.
to the Odyssey, like in like my, because the movie came out 17th, so it started playing 16th because that's Thursday. So I had enough time from like the Thursday when it came out up until when my 70 millimeter tickets were to watch through his
Yeah.
entire filmography. So it worked out perfectly. I watched every single Christopher Nolan movie, and yeah, really just seeing that growth and like seeing, you can even just tell from a first movie, even if it has like no budget, you can really tell from a first movie if it's the director's full vision. You can really see just like the little bit of like, this guy is going to go somewhere.
Yeah. What was his first movie?
It's called Following. It was from like the 90s. It was made for a very small budget. He just shot it with some friends. Like he shot it on weekends over the course of a year, just whenever his friends were free. It was just, it went to some film festivals or whatever. It was shot on like a Super 8 black and white camera. Extremely low budget, extremely just like guerrilla style filmmaking, just like going out into a random place, hit and record. But even following, watching that, it's like, this is so small budget, but watching it, seeing what his career would eventually grow into, you can see the seeds being planted there of like, this guy really really just has like a really good handle on what makes a great film and what makes a great twist, because
Yeah.
his movies are really known for their twists. The only Nolan movie you've seen is Interstellar
Interstellar.
all the way through, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but even from there, like, the twists and like the revelations of Nolan films, that's a
Yeah.
big thing that they're built on. And going all the way back to the start, it started off like already being built on like, not everything's as it seems, which that is really what he does great. And anyway, yeah, so watch through his entire career. Great career. He does not have a single bad movie. He's done so many great things for so many different genres, just for filmmaking as a whole, the medium, the industry. Like, I don't know if you know this, he was the man who brought IMAX to narrative filmmaking.
Wow.
Yeah, IMAX was created for documentaries, and he was the first man to be like, we should use that on narrative filmmaking, with The Dark Knight in 2008 being like the first narrative Hollywood film to actually be shot utilizing IMAX technology. The scope and scale that has given to both him, as well as just the scope that now so many stories are allowed to be told at because of his innovation, I think is just incredible.
I think I only seen one movie in IMAX, and I think it was Inside Out 2.
Inside Out 2 in IMAX. What a movie to see in IMAX.
But you've seen it in 70 millimeter at the King of Prussia Regal, right?
Yes. Speaking of seeing things in IMAX, this was my first time ever seeing a film in 70 millimeter IMAX. I've seen IMAX before, but this is my first time ever seeing 70 millimeter. My first time ever going to IMAX, and just in general, was actually Dune Part 2, because I think it's important to like, not every movie needs IMAX. Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 is a great movie. Some movies are great, but like, some movies are just like, they put it in IMAX to say that, oh, go buy your tickets in IMAX in the trailer. And some movies, it's very much like, IMAX is clearly the way that this movie was meant to be experienced.
Yeah.
And that was Dune Part 2 back in 2024. Absolutely adore that film. I think it's one of the greatest sci-fi films ever made, and is one of the most stunning visual films ever made. And the IMAX cinematography on there is just amazing, by Greg Fraser. Great cinematographer. And seeing that, I now almost had that feeling recaptured of just being so blown away by my first IMAX experience of seeing the Odyssey in 70 millimeter. I had like that same experience that I had when I saw my first ever amazing film in IMAX, by seeing the Odyssey in 70 millimeter, because 70 millimeter really is like, it gets so much hype online. Tickets are like $33+ a person. Like, it's expensive. There's only like 41 locations in the world for it. Like, I had to take like a 2-hour drive to see this. I couldn't see it until like 2 Tuesdays after it came out, because getting tickets for this was insane. Like, I was looking at some showings for this are like sold out up through mid-August. Like, it's insanely hard. And when it gets to that point, you almost have to wonder, is it really worth it? after seeing it in 70mm IMAX, I can say it is worth
So
it.
70mm is the one that goes almost like around you?
No, that's ScreenX. 70,
Okay.
70mm is film. Like it's IMAX, but it's shot on actual IMAX film. And it's wider than digital IMAX. It's
Okay.
wider and it's sharper than digital IMAX because like, it's more vibrant. Because like
So it shows more.
it's projected on actual film. It's
Okay.
not a digital projector. It's an actual film projector that's going in there. And that's exactly how Nolan shot it, because Nolan is a director who loves to still shoot on film. And so the whole way that you're seeing it exactly how Nolan shot it. So that's like the big draw of this format.
Yeah.
And this was also the first film in history to ever be fully shot for 70mm IMAX. Because big 70mm cameras, they are so loud.
Yeah.
So like you could use it for like, he used it back in Oppenheimer, and like Oppenheimer did screen in 70mm because it was used for a lot of the big scenes, and even like the smaller scenes you could use like a digital IMAX camera or whatever camera, and you could kind of like crop it to look like IMAX. But like if you shot at the full scope, if you're just shooting like an intimate like dialogue scene, you're gonna hear the camera in the back, like big time.
Yeah.
So they actually invented a whole new technology for the Odyssey, called the blimp. It's like this case that they put the camera in, and it basically mutes it. So that meant that this was the first film in history that could actually be fully shot, every single frame in 70mm IMAX. And it is absolutely stunning. Every single shot in this film looks beautiful, looks so vibrant. It looks so like the scope of everything is just so large and so engaging the whole time. And like I think this is just one of those movies that like will just go down in history as just like such a great epic film, because really this whole film, from the very opening scene to the end, which Nolan's movies always have like an epic feel to them. I mean, you saw Interstellar.
Yes.
Yeah. They always have that epic sort of feel to them, but like the Odyssey in particular, the reason why Nolan wanted to adapt it is because it's based on like an almost 3,000-year-old story, and this was really, many believe it to be, including Nolan, like the first epic story ever told. So Nolan was like, if I'm going to tell an epic story, I want to do the original, what is still regarded by many as like the most epic story ever told. And that is Homer's The Odyssey, or now Nolan's The Odyssey. And yeah, I really think he just nailed it. He has said, and so many of the cast has said, Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Zendaya, which, speaking of which, just the cast.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, Anne Hathaway, Mia Goth, John Bernthal, insane cast. Lupita Nyong'o, like you could go on all day. And pretty much everyone who's worked on this movie in interviews, including Nolan himself, have said that this was the hardest film they've ever made in their lives. And watching it, you can really tell. Like they're on boats in the ocean and stuff, like these Viking-looking ships, and like they're really shooting that in the ocean. It's not like on a soundstage. They're really on the ocean with these real waves. You see dolphins in the background at one point in the movie. The cinematographer said there were just actually dolphins in the background of the shot because they were on the real ocean. There's I don't know if you saw it in the trailer, but there's like a big giant cyclops thing. This isn't really a spoiler because it was in the trailer. And like it's giant, like 50 foot, 100 foot. I don't know. I'm bad with telling you how tall things are, but like it's big is the point. And they built just like an actual giant life-size puppet to use it in the movie, because like Nolan doesn't like using CGI. He likes to do as much in camera as you possibly can, and you can really feel that on this movie. Like, there's not a single shot in the Odyssey where you're looking at it and going, "Oh, that's a green screen. Oh, that's CGI. That's fake." The entire time, you just feel like you are in this like epic mythological story. It is so immersive. And I think for being such like a tall order, I think Nolan really pulled it off. Like all of the weight in the world was on him for this movie, and I think he absolutely delivered on it. I don't know. Do you have any questions about the Odyssey or anything you'd like to say?
No, I did. I seen the trailer when I went to when I went to go see the Michael movie, and I think I seen it, and I remember my dad, he was like, "Oh, I want to see it," and I was like, and I didn't think much of it because it didn't look like something I would go see. But then, like, I think back to when I watched Interstellar, and I was like, like, halfway through Interstellar, I was watching it, and I was like, all right, like, this is all right. And then it got to, like, the point where you see, I don't even know how to describe, it's, like, it's so insane, it's hard to describe. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? When he's in the room with, like, all the lines.
Oh, the black hole scene.
Yes, that. So, once you get there, the whole rest of the movie is just, like, insanely good.
Yeah, that's all of Nolan's films. Like every single Nolan movie, even if you're someone that's like, I wouldn't be into that. I wouldn't be into this big sci-fi thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, because I didn't
All
think
of
I was into sci-fi at
no,
all.
like all of Nolan's movies are just so amazingly made that like it doesn't matter what you're into. If you are paying attention, I mean, unless you're just sitting there on your phone, but like
Yeah,
if you're paying attention, you will be drawn into his
yeah,
films.
absolutely.
Every single one has like some hook, something that is like you can't look away from, and they're so emotional, they're so
Mhm.
epic, they're just everything that's great about cinema. Nolan nails.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, moving on from that, do we want to talk about the other big Tom Holland and Zendaya film?
Yes.
So, we both just got back from Spider-Man Brand New Day. My second time, your first time. Um, do we want to just like give our scores out of 10?
Well, I think actually I would like us to say how many stars we give it because I have a question about yours.
We'll just double your if you're doing like stars on Letterboxd, you just
Okay,
double your
so
stars.
I gave it a 4.5 star, so that would be
A 9 out of 10.
Yes, yes.
So,
yeah.
what's your question?
Your rating was what, a 4 stars?
So yeah, originally when I saw it back on Thursday, I gave it an 8 out of 10. After seeing it twice, I bumped it up to a 9. I honestly, I think it did get better on rewatch.
It was so good.
It was
So
very,
good.
very good.
Yeah, I wanted to ask
So
you
where do
why
you
you
even wanna
gave it
start?
4 stars.
Why give it 4 stars?
Why you gave it 4 stars?
I just gave it 4 stars because I feel like my first time I watched it, like the first act of this movie. So first act would be like, we will be talking spoilers for this. So
Yeah,
you heard what we thought about it. We both think you should go see it, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you should go see it. Come back here after you see it, and then listen to our in-depth thoughts on it.
Yes.
So the first act, which is like everything leading up to, the scene where he sees MJ's boyfriend kiss her at the party.
Yeah.
Then he like swings back, you get the sad montage, then he like passes out
Yeah.
in his apartment. So like everything from up to there is like the first act of the movie. I thought the first act of this movie was just incredible. Like I thought first act of this movie was just like 10 out of 10. I was blown away by everything, loved absolutely everything. Then as you got more into it, I thought the second and third act, they just felt a little messy to me when I first watched it. Now on rewatch, I think everything meshed a little more. It felt less messy. And I was just like, now that I knew what was going to happen, I was just able to like kind of sit back and enjoy what they were telling instead of like thinking like, oh, it'd be cool if they go there and then they don't go there. Because a big thing that honestly brought it down, and this is my fault, this is not the movie's fault. I was theorizing like crazy for this movie. And there was a big theory that I had that I strongly believed in up until like the end of the movie. I fully believed that my theory was going to be true and come out.
Do you want to share your theory?
Yeah, so I thought, are you familiar with the symbiote in Marvel Comics?
No.
It's like when Spider-Man has the black suit, like the Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's when like the Venom thing takes over Spider-Man. So I fully believed, I've been saying for months, you can ask people, I've had like full conversations, I was DMing someone on Instagram about this, and it literally went like, I didn't even know that DMs had a limit of how much you could type in one message. I typed out like a whole essay to someone about my theory on this. I've been spreading it to everyone because I really truly believed in my theory. I believed that the mutation thing that was taking over Peter, I thought that was going to be like the symbiote. That I thought that's what's going to be causing him to mutate because you see his eyes go black, and like the symbiote we saw left behind in Peter's universe at the end of No Way Home. At the end of No Way Home, it's a scene in the bar. Last thing we see in that movie is the symbiote gets left behind in his universe. That kind of symbiote from the Venom movies we've seen kind of makes your eyes go weird when you have it and stuff. So like I thought since we're seeing like his eyes go fully black and whatever, and like we know there's something mutating him, causing his DNA to get more aggressive or whatever, like I really thought that was going to be the symbiote. Especially then when I got into the movie, my thoughts of that were only like more reaffirmed by what I was seeing on screen. Like when like the whole thing with the symbiote, if you're not really familiar with it, like the whole thing with the symbiote is it basically just like makes you more aggressive. And the scene where Peter is fighting the scorpion guy in the streets, like right after he gets his organic webbing, he goes to fight him, and then like the blackness just like takes over his eyes. Yeah. And like he just like grabs him, whips him against the building, is like smashing him down, like screaming at him. Like that is like fully a symbiote thing. Yeah. So I already thought this before I saw the movie, and then watching the movie, that was just like more and more reaffirmed to me that I was like, oh shoot, they're actually doing the symbiote, and I got so hyped. And then my theory was also, I thought that they were going to kill Peter at the end of this movie, and then that was going to be the reveal of the symbiote. After he died, the suit was going to come out, because that happens like in other Spider-Man stories. A lot of times in Spider-Man stories, it's a thing that like Peter will die or be right on the verge of death, and the symbiote will like break out and like take over his body and like keep him alive, save him. Like it's happening in comics, it's happening in the Spider-Man 2 video game. Like that's just a thing that will happen. So at the end of this movie, so this has been my theory the entire time leading up, right? And at the end of this movie, Peter gets fatally shot and like falls to the floor.
Yeah.
So I fully thought like the symbiote was about to come out. If that came out, this movie honestly may be like a 10 out of 10 for me. Like,
yeah,
I think it would have been so cool to include the symbiote, but like that's not the movie's fault. That was just an idea that I had built up in my head. So like I personally was a little disappointed just because I thought that would have been so cool. But like that's unfair to pin on the movie that like just a thing that I wanted to happen. Oh, that's why your movie's bad. Like I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like I needed to see it again knowing what their story was instead of having my own like vision in my head of what I wanted to see. Now seeing it a second time, going in, just seeing it for what they wanted it to be, I think it was just a great story.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so first of all, because the opening, like, I was crying within the first like 30 seconds of the movie.
Are we talking about the Marvel logo where he
Yes.
Oh yeah, that hit me so hard my first time going in, where it was like this, you see the spell get cast in the logo and then all of the memories in the logo and he's having Peter fade away. That hit me so hard, like opening night.
I was crying then. I cried multiple times. Anything that had to do with him losing MJ and Ned, I was just like, I was heartbroken.
It was done very well. But I think I love that they didn't just have it be the cliche of like, oh, they remember, they're back together, whatever. Like, I like that they actually did just play it out and be like she doesn't remember you. Like she's not just gonna run back to you. And like even when they had that scene on the rooftop where MJ kisses him and then pretends to remember him, and you find out it's Jean inside MJ. Diabolical move from Jean, by the way.
Crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Jean
god.
was moving like a menace.
No, but
this
like
whole movie.
halfway through that, I felt like that's what it was gonna be, because then I was like, like it was too easy. And halfway through the movie, it was too early.
Yeah, and but I'm so glad that they actually did fake that out, because like if they really, because a lot of people, including me, were kind of worried they were actually just gonna like undo the spell like with something like that, and I'd be like, that'd be such a cop out.
Yeah.
But I loved that they really did actually commit to it. Also Zendaya's an amazing actress, because seeing that a second time, knowing that Jean was in her since the apartment when he goes in to save her.
Yeah.
Rewatching it, knowing that Zendaya does act just ever so slightly off from how she has acted as MJ in the previous 3 movies. During that scene and like during everything leading up to that. Zendaya is an amazing actress. Just for being able to pull something like that off like so subtly to where it doesn't give it away, but like just there enough to where you can tell it on rewatch. Very, very, very cool acting techniques and whatever. But I thought the way they handled all of that was great, because then the scene where like where she finds that the real MJ finds the note, and Peter's like, I love you, and then she's like, I don't love you, I don't even remember you. That was so it was so like, it's a gut punch, yes, but like I like that so much more than if they did just like undo the spell. I like that we are actually living with it. And I even like that now Peter is just like trying to like be friends with them again and like start something new with them. I mean, the movie's called Brand New Day. It's very obvious this is him like trying to actually like start his life again. Because you see in the opening montage, sick opening montage, by the way, where he's just like fighting crime, like killing it for 4 years. Dope opening montage. You see in there, he's a big theme of this movie, which the cast and crew has also talked about in interviews, is like a big part of this movie is like Peter Parker. The world forgot Peter Parker, but in a sense, Peter Parker kind of forgot himself too. Yeah, like he couldn't have MJ or Ned, so like you even see like the blonde girl in his apartment like tries to talk to him or whatever, and he just like completely avoids her. By the way, I totally thought that was Gwen Stacy when I first watched this movie. Totally thought that was Gwen Stacy. But like just like he couldn't have like what he wanted, like, and what he thought Peter Parker needed, so then he just like became fully Spider-Man.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it too. I was like, if you really think about the first 3 movies, like he has more of a personality, but then you get to this movie and his whole personality is just Spider-Man.
Exactly, because he lost
everything.
Ned and MJ, like he lost May, he lost his entire world, like everything that Peter Parker was is gone now. Yeah. So now watching him just like fully just delve into Spider-Man, and then seeing the consequences of that, of like how stressed he is with that, brings out his spider side more and his more aggressive mutated side. And then like even the end of this movie, like the big climax, when Jean's like, "Are you Peter Parker? Or are you Spider-Man?" And then he goes, "I'm both." Like that.
Yeah.
That being the emotional climax of the movie, and like I thought that was just great. That like him learning that lesson of you can't just be Spider-Man, and even if like everything with Peter Parker is gone, like you can't just do this alone. Like you and trying to start again. I thought that was a beautiful story to tell with Peter.
I like this movie so much because it almost reminded me exactly of Far From Home, because Far From Home they do the illusion, and then in this movie they do like the telepathic thing, so it's almost similar, but this one was better because it was more emotional. So that's why
Talking
I
about like the twist with the villain and whatever.
yeah, like well, no, more just like how it's like he's getting faked out and he's believing things. Like it was similar, so I liked it, and I loved Far From Home. Like if you see my review, it literally just says like no
Yeah,
words, amazing.
I
Like
I really like Far From Home too. But I saw someone actually say related to Far From Home. The whole thing with like the reason why his identity gets revealed and has to be wiped is because Mysterio reveals it at the end of Far From Home.
yeah,
Right? And Mysterio's whole motivation in that movie was he wanted Edith. So I saw a tweet the other day where it was like. Oh, it was like a picture of like Peter depressed in Brand New Day, and the tweet caption was just like all of this happened because a dude wanted some meta glasses. By the way,
no, you literally yeah.
but yeah, I don't think Tom Holland has a single bad movie. I don't really think there's been a single like awful Spider-Man movie. All of them I think have their moments to them. Even like Andrew Garfield's movies are probably the weakest in my opinion. But like he's great in them. Gwen is great in them. Like even like the weaker Spider-Man films, they'll still have something great in them. And like yeah, I don't think there's ever been like a truly awful Spider-Man
Yeah.
film. Especially Toby and Tom. I think all of their movies are pretty good.
Some
Pretty
other
good's great.
other things I want to talk about is like the music in this movie was great. Like I liked it the party
Oh
scene
yeah.
when they started playing Tame Impala. I knew
Oh
I
yeah,
was sitting there
Loser.
and I was like, yeah, and I was like, what song is that? I was like, this is good. And then I knew it was either like Tame Impala, Malcolm Todd, like something along that line. Like I knew it was something like that.
Oh,
And
it
it
was
was so
great.
good. It fit it well.
That yeah, the lyrics of that song and everything, the vibe fits Peter Parker in that moment so perfect.
Yeah.
And they just set such a mood. Like opening night, the second I heard those first notes, I was just like, oh, I'm locked in right now. Like
Mhm.
that, like certain needle drops when they start playing a song, you can just tell like, oh, this movie's about to like lock in. For like from the first few notes, and that was one of those where I was like, the second I heard those notes, I was like, oh, this is about to go hard. Like
Yeah.
no matter what's coming up, that they're about to cook something. Yeah, but the whole soundtrack I thought was good. They got Bad Bunny in there.
Yeah.
They had I think it was called Wolf Like Me, I believe is the song they played during the opening montage. I think it's by TV on the Radio, I think is that band. That opening montage we already talked about was sick. Like
Yeah.
that song gave like such momentum to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought even the end credits song by Steve Lacy. I thought that was great. Speaking of Steve Lacy, I'm not sure if you saw, but he spoiled. Did you know the whole thing with like we didn't know who Sadie Sink was playing
Yes.
leading up to this movie?
Also, her reveal, I think, just to her reveal alone, like I thought they did a great job with the reveal.
Oh yeah, opening night when I went for first time, everyone started clapping when it
Yeah.
was revealed to be Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Because like, you know who Jean Grey is a little bit,
She's
right?
from
X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like a main X-Men, and Marvel after the next two Avengers movies when they reboot, the X-Men are going to be a lot what they're focusing on. So seeing like we're already getting some great talent.
Mhm.
She's playing Jean Grey. We already got Samara Weaving confirmed for Emma Frost. She's been my Emma Frost fan cast for a while. I love Samara Weaving. She's one of my favorite actresses. She's from Ready or Not.
Yes.
Ready or Not. Yeah. Also opening Kill Scream 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who and then Jason
Oh yeah,
is in Spider-Man.
He's Flash in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. By the way, one of the best jokes in this movie when Ned like lifts the board and it's like I'm narrowed it down to 2 people and it's just Flash and the teacher from the first 3. I thought that was great. But what was I just saying with X-Men? So like yeah, we already got Samara Weaving confirmed for Emma Frost. Sadie Sink is already playing Jean Grey. That movie is shaping up to just be great. It's currently rumored Kaylee Spaney is going to play Rogue. I love her. She like they are cooking so much with these castings right now.
Yeah.
If that ends up being true. It's rumored that we're going to be getting like the full cast announcement at D23, which is happening this month.
Mhm.
So I'm sure we can talk about that on here if they announce some more big people because it looks like they are just really cooking with that.
Mhm.
They already got the guy that did Thunderbolts, writer and director of Thunderbolts, Jake Schreiner, to do that movie. You did not see Thunderbolts, I believe. But,
No.
But Yelena, the girl that was in this movie, the one in like in like the sauna place.
Yes.
Yeah, she was like the main character of
Mhm.
Thunderbolts, which I loved seeing her in here. This movie actually shared quite a bit of similarities with Thunderbolts. The ending of this movie, like how like the ending part with Jean where she goes into Peter's mind and then just gets the talk of like you don't have to do this alone. Like
Yeah.
that whole thing, I won't directly spoil it for you, but like very, very, very heavily Thunderbolts influence. And the whole theme of this movie was kind of just like you don't have to do things alone. Like
Yeah.
that was kind of a big theme of this. And that was also like you're not alone was the main theme of Thunderbolts. So I thought this shared a lot with Thunderbolts, but Thunderbolts is my favorite MCU movie, favorite Marvel movie, period, probably of all time. Just one of my, I think that would be in my top 10 movies of all time if I had to rank it. That
Mhm.
movie means so much to me. I love it so much. That was my favorite film of last year. That up there with Mario Supreme, but Marvel wise, yeah, I think that movie's just beautiful. I do think that movie hit hit the nail on the head harder, way harder personally, at least for me, than Spider-Man did. But I think Spider-Man still did a really good job with those themes. Another movie that this actually really reminded me of in the MCU, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm not sure if you've seen that one.
No, but guys, trust all the me
Yeah,
with all the
she's
Marvel
gonna
knowledge.
watch
It's coming up
everything.
soon.
She's
I
gonna
promise.
watch everything
Which
before Doomsday.
rewatching all of the Spider-Mans and then watching this one like makes me want to watch Marvel more because like I get so locked in once I know like the main plot and the concept of what's going on with the villain and the hero. Like I get so locked in. Like I said, like with the Mysterio thing in Far From Home, I was so locked in because it gets to a point where it's like this is so like what do you do in this situation that it gets me so invested.
Yeah, Marvel makes great stories.
So that was just like it makes me want to watch it more. So I'm excited.
But yeah, with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, this also shared quite a bit with that. That and Thunderbolts, honestly. It kind of felt like if you rolled themes from those two into one, that's kind of how you get this movie. Because the whole thing with Peter, like his girlfriend doesn't remember him and like he just all he wants is her back, but like she's literally a completely different person now. That exact plot point is like one of the major things in Guardians 3. I like literally bar for bar that exact same plot point. Even like the like she is a different person. It's like they don't just force them back together for like a cliche or whatever. Like they do actually just show like sometimes you need to move on and like you can still move on with your life. Like you don't have to stay on the one person. You can move on and still just like live your life, which is a big thing that Spider-Man was talking about. That's a big thing that Guardians like just moving on. That's a big thing that Guardians 3 deals with. And they do them in both in a very similar, very like such a great way. And the main character in Guardians' name is also Peter. So
Yeah.
so that's a really funny just parallel there. But yeah, like Thunderbolts and Guardians 3 are widely agreed to be like two of the best post Endgame MCU movies.
Mhm.
So now just like honestly those two and then No Way Home. So it almost feels like they took elements from all three because obviously it's a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
So it almost felt like just taking elements from like the three most loved post Endgame movies and then they kind of put a little bit of each of them into this one.
Yeah.
How did you feel about like when the Hulk showed up? I thought that was cool.
I thought it was cool. I didn't like there was some things like I didn't expect. Like who was the guy that was like the leader
Punisher?
of Control Damage?
Oh, Damage Control?
Or yeah, whatever. Sorry,
the
I
dude?
just literally butchered that.
I'm pretty sure he's like connected to the X-Men in the comics, but
I knew that there was something with him. Like he was too when Peter went to Damage Control for the first time, he was just too nice. Like I kind of suspected that, so that wasn't really a big surprise for me. But getting it confirmed was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a good actor. What do you think of Punisher? Punisher, that's Frank, like the.
I love Frank.
Yeah, I thought Punisher was great in here. His dynamic with Spider-Man, so funny.
I might not. I just because I have never watched like Marvel really, I might not know what's the lore with his family because I don't know.
His origin story is his entire family was murdered.
Really?
Like wife, all of his kids, like you see like the pictures of like his little girls.
Yeah, I was wondering that,
like,
and I was like,
his entire family, kids, everything was like murdered.
Mm-hmm.
That's his origin story. So then he goes out, and his name is the Punisher because he starts just going around and killing everyone that he's like, my family isn't here, but you're still allowed to be here. That's not right. So he goes around and just
and that's why he's so violent,
killing everyone.
Movie.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a great character. There's so many sad scenes with his character. Both in he has his own TV show. He's also in Daredevil. And then they also just gave him like a little like 50-minute kind of like mini movie thing on Disney Plus this year.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a great character, and seeing him finally get to interact with Spider-Man on screen, that was just great.
Yeah.
Because Punisher first debuted as a Spider-Man villain in the comics, so just getting to see their dynamic finally on screen.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland and John Bernthal, the two actors, they were also both in the Odyssey together. They've known each other for like a decade in real life.
Yeah.
So they said a lot of their like lines and whatever in the movie. A lot of it was improv, and there are like takes and takes and takes, like hours that they just had to cut out because like them two were just like riffing off each other so much, and they're like so good and so funny together. But like they just did it so much that I got to a point where they like had to cut it down. But
no, the hospital
but
scene.
yeah, they were great.
Where he like finally saw that it was Peter, and like the waving from the window and stuff. Like I really like that. But no, and then I wanted to say too, like I said, I cried like 4 times. It was the end of the movie, and he was doing the handshake with Ned. Spoilers, whatever. And then they just ended the movie. I was like, you like Riley heard me. You probably heard me. I was like, are we serious? I was literally like, this is how we're ending this. I was like, are we serious? It was such a good ending, but it just made like it makes you mad a little bit.
But do you just want more?
Yes, I want more.
I feel like if a movie, I heard there was some quote from a director or whatever that I heard, and I agree with it, that like if a movie ends and your first reaction is I want more, that means it was a good movie.
Yeah, no, it was.
Like if that's your only complaint about the ending was just you wanted more. Now that gets to a point where some movies feels like they were missing something, so that can't go in the opposite direction. But most of the time, if you end a movie and you're just like, what the heck, I wanted way more, like that's probably means you loved what you got.
Well, it wasn't even just I wanted more, it was just the way that they ended it. Like he was the recollection of him was coming back, and then they just are like, all right, we're done.
Well, do you think the ending of that movie means that he remembers like Peter being his friend?
Yeah, because I think Peter.
Some people think that online. I don't think that.
I think that only because Peter doing the handshake was such a smart move that I didn't think of, and then when he did it, I was like, "That's so clever." And then he was like, "Oh, Peter," but then if you really think about it, it might have just been him remembering that MJ said that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because so that's why I'm like,
yeah. No, some people online like. I've seen people online like you thinking that it's like, oh my god, he remembers. But like I feel like they would have made a much bigger deal if that was actually the case. And also if you're going to do the spell's broken and someone remembers, I feel like they would have done that with MJ, and they would have actually done a kiss thing or whatever with MJ. Because they had a specific line like focusing on Ned finding out the Spider-Man's name was Peter. And we know Ned's like obsessed with Spider-Man now. And I think that was just kind of the thing of like showing like now Spider-Man, like Peter, Ned, MJ, like he can move on, he can be friends with them again. Like he doesn't have, even though he lost them, and like he can still, like he doesn't have to be alone. I think because that was the main message of this movie and everything. And I really think the end of that movie, it's called Brand New Day. I think it's just showing like a new beginning with Ned as his friend. Mm-hmm. Because obviously the whole trilogy, MJ wasn't even really a thing in Homecoming. Like she was there, but like she wasn't a main character in Homecoming at all. So I think just ending it with being like the best friend from the start of the trilogy now, like we can like starting that new friendship at the end, with the title being Brand New Day. I personally feel like that's more what it meant.
Okay. Yeah.
But you're not alone in that. I've seen a lot of people thinking that like that Ned, and I've even seen some people having theories that MJ remembers now. Because some people are saying, like, when Jean was in their heads, maybe, like, she made them remember while she was in their heads.
Okay, that's a good thought, but I feel like, again, like you said, I feel like they would have made that a bigger deal and really touched on it more if that was the case.
Yeah, but I saw someone be like, the last time you see MJ in this movie is after the brainwashing.
True,
and she's sitting on the rooftop that her and Peter would always go to.
But that could also prove my point.
Clutching her necklace that Peter gave to her on that rooftop.
So that could prove my point a little bit more too.
Like I don't agree with you, but I'm saying I fully see why a lot of people like you are believing that, because it could be that. It could. Mm-hmm. I don't think it is, but there's just enough evidence there to where I feel like I could see that.
Yeah.
Anything else to say with this movie?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, anything else we want to talk about on this episode?
Are we going to tap into our shows, or are we going to save that?
TV? Maybe we should save that for next week, because I feel like we've had
a lot.
We've talked about
We've given you guys enough.
3 of the biggest movies of the year. Honestly, we've talked about like all the biggest movies of the year. The only of the top 4 movies this year, like not my favorite wise, but like big wise. I feel like the only one we're really missing is like Project Hail Mary, which you haven't seen. Hail Mary.
No, I My teacher put on in chem class, and I really wasn't tapped in. I'm
It,
sorry, I was tapped out.
Hail
By the end
Mary's
of the year.
great. Hail Mary's a great
But
movie.
I do want to watch it.
Yeah, but we've talked about like some of the biggest movies of the year. Do you know where Spider-Man ranks on like your 2026 movies so far?
That's hard to say because I would have to look at my diary. But also, I haven't seen that many movies. Like I said in the last episode, I haven't seen that many movies released this year. But I've seen a good amount just in this year overall. So I would have to really think about that. So maybe next time we can come with our rankings.
Yeah, I think this is definitely in my top 10 of the year so far.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know exactly where it places in my top 10, but it's definitely in the top 10. Yeah. After seeing it a second time, I can really say, like, without going in with any like overblown expectations or anything, just enjoying the film for what it is. I can really say, yeah, they did a great job with this. The director, Destin Daniel Cretton, he's a great director. I love. He did Just Mercy. Love that movie. He did Short Term 12. That's a great smaller film. He did Shang-Chi, which was a Marvel movie back from 2021. That was actually the first Marvel movie I saw in the theater. Yeah, great action, great everything. This was Jackie Chan's stunt team actually did the action for this movie.
Wow.
So yeah, I really feel like you can feel that compared to like the first three Tom Holland movies. Not saying that they had bad action, but like the action in here,
Was insane.
It felt a lot more like hand to hand, like more visceral. Like it felt more engaging, like realistic.
Because it wasn't just him
combat.
Shooting the webs the entire time. Like there was physical, like
and I like the action in some of Tom Holland's earlier movies, but like it's a lot more like CGI action.
Yeah.
In here, it was a lot more like hand to hand combat type action, and I thought that was a very cool, just like contrast and new feel because obviously this is like a new trilogy now. So
yeah,
I thought I liked how this had like in many ways almost like a more grown up vibe to his first three movies. Yeah, I loved it. I think Marvel is like officially back now because we were on like a hit or miss streak for a while with Marvel after Endgame. Some movies were great, some movies were like but like I'm glad that I stuck with it because a lot of people like fell out of Marvel after the MCU. I mean after Endgame. But I'm glad that I stuck with it because I think now we have been on like a comeback ever since last year. I think with Thunderbolts was great, Fantastic Four was cool to see. This was great, and now we're going right into Doomsday next year. Not next year, at the end of this year, we're going into Doomsday, Secret Wars next year. And then after that, Marvel's rebooting. So, I'm very excited for Doomsday. You saw the trailer for Doomsday. I know you haven't really seen like anything in the build up to it, but like, do you want to see Doomsday?
Yes, because now, like I said, now watching Spider-Man, it makes me more excited to watch everything else.
Yeah, and you got like 26 years of stuff to watch for Doomsday.
Yep.
Starting from because they're going all the way back to the 2000s X-Men in that. Very, very exciting. A little just we're gonna end this off about with Spider-Man about the last thing that you see in the film. A little talk for the future. The post-credit scene in there. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Yeah,
because I really like how they announced it because I like that they used the
Spidey tracker. Yeah,
the Spidey tracker was such a cute little touch, and I think it was so good for that.
So, what do you think that means? Because there's like three different big interpretations. I've already talked to a few people about this. I've heard different opinions on it. So I want to know what your opinion is.
I think it could mean the space thing, but also I'm like, I don't know how
the Battle World theory. Do you know Battle World?
No.
So basically, Battle World's a thing. So are you saying you think like Tom Holland got transported to space? Because if you're saying that, then that's the Battle World theory. So Battle World is a thing in Secret Wars in the comics where it's kind of like this other world that all the heroes are put on to like fight and whatever. Mm-hmm. So some people are thinking it's that like Tom Holland got transported to space. So is that kind of ballpark of what you're saying?
Maybe I feel like I'm gonna be a little less engaged if it really is that's what it. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it.
I am hoping what it is. The second theory that people are saying online, which this is the theory that I subscribe to the most, is that it's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man coming in because you saw like multiversal glitches on the screen. So I think it's going to be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man coming in. And I hope because he's in space in the Doomsday trailer. Thor, the Fantastic Four, and Steve Rogers are all on a ship in space, and we have heard a lot of rumors that Tobey Maguire is going to be in Doomsday. Even Tom Holland the other day, because we all know Tom Holland's like bad keeping secrets, right? Yeah. He was in this like children's hospital event the other day. And they were all able to ask him a question. Did you see when the one asked about Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
But
he was like, no, but, and then the interviewer guy was like, shut up, Tom. And I really do believe that Toby will be in Doomsday, so I think that could maybe be setting up Toby coming back in Doomsday, since that is the next movie. But the thing that a lot of people are bringing up when I say that, and when everyone else says that, is like it didn't say Spider-Man will return in Avengers Doomsday. It just said Spider-Man will return. So some people are thinking it could maybe be not an Avengers thing. It could maybe be tied into Beyond the Spider-Verse, which comes out next year, the animated Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
The third one of those, which that is my most anticipated movie next year. I'm so excited for that. I absolutely adore the first two films. That is like maybe my favorite trilogy of all time. I absolutely love it. If it finishes and it's just as good as the first two, that probably will be my favorite trilogy of all time. And I've seen some people being like, the multiversal glitch that we see on the screen looks extremely similar to like when they do
Yeah.
the multiversal glitch in those movies. And because it didn't say Avengers at the end, and since that comes out next year, some people are thinking maybe it's going to tie this in with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think personally, I would rather them just focus on like ending off that trilogy and have it be as good as it can be, rather than like trying to tie in Tom Holland in some way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that, and I even if it is that, I don't know if I would love that. It could be a Battle World thing, but personally, I'm hoping it's Tobey Maguire. I
Mhm.
think that'd just be awesome. So you got anything else to say?
That's all.
No? Okay, if that's all, then I think we are going to end the episode right about there. I know we didn't talk about much today, guys, but we had
We a lot.
three
A
really
lot.
big movies to
Next
talk
week
about.
we will tap into our shows.
Yeah,
right?
next week we plan to get into our favorite TV shows, because you've heard us talk about movies for 2 episodes now. We can get a little more TV side of our taste in the next
Yes.
episode. Next episode will probably be a lot more like episode 1. It'll probably be broader, a little less focused. This was very much just, we had 3 big movies that we needed to talk about, so we just wanted to give them all the time that they deserved here.
Yes.
But yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for popping by, everyone, and we will see you next week.